Okay, everybody. This is actually, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger because I think it would actually help you. Where in the world? I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. So it'll show up better. Actually, let's just make it a little bit less. Because I wanted to fill up the space. Oh, it's just not going to let me go in between. It's being silly. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so this is, I have suggestions in this. This is kind of how I write on people's papers if they send me something. But I wanted to give you a chance to see what I was expecting as far as format, what I was expecting as far as what you were going to do for your paper. And so this will be a very short video. You have already taken Comp 1 and done that successfully. Many of you have taken other classes as well that required you to write for academia. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but I will help you with source citation if you need me to. This essay allows you can use MLA or APA format. I'm going to show you MLA, but if you really want to know, just go to all you do is do a Google search of Purdue OWL, Purdue OWL. It's a writing center that's online, and they actually have examples for APA and MLA. I'm going to show you MLA because that's what I prefer, but I will accept either. The main thing is if you use APA style, you need to have a cover page and you need to follow APA style correctly. If you use MLA, you need to use MLA correctly, okay? So if with MLA, one of the things that's required is that your paper is completely double spaced. There should be no extra spacing. So if you see that like this is more spread out, it's not. But if this looks like it's more spread out, a lot of times your default in Microsoft Word is going to show you, it's actually going to give you an automatic spacing in between paragraphs, which is not okay. You need to take it out. All you have to do is go up to this paragraph thing and click on paragraph in the little corner, and then spacing before and after the paragraph should be set at 0, not auto, 0. And make sure that the line spacing is double, and then you just click OK. And then if you highlight the entire paper, even if you've already written a bunch of it, and you realize that the spacing's stupid, then you can go ahead and fix it all. Just hit Control A, and Control A will highlight your entire paper, and then you can fix it all. It should also be in 12 point, and I'll just put this in here, 12 point Times New Roman. Font, not 16 point or 14 or 13 or any other point, just 12 point, because otherwise your words are going to look too big and stupid. Don't try to make your paper longer. I don't grade by words. I grade by, how much of a depth of comparison do you have? How detailed are you? Do you actually do what you're supposed to do as far as research? I don't care if it fits how many pages. I just don't care. But it needs to be 12 point Times New Roman. The title should be 12 point Times New Roman, and there must be a title. So there's no extra spacing after the date. The date is listed in full format. Don't put, 7/8/23. Don't do that to me. Put July 13th or July 23rd, or, but write out the date nicely. You also need pagination up here, and all you would do is to get that is to go up to insert, and you would insert a page number. It should be in the upper right hand side, and it's really easy to pick. Then once you've put it in, don't use a fancy page number. That's all. None of that is Microsoft is MLA. So just a regular page number. Then once it's in there, you can actually click on it and you can add your last name to it. That last name, make sure you insert pages first, because if you put a number 1 up there and then your last name, it's going to say last one on every single page, and that's not good. So insert page numbers, then add your little name to it, and the name will automatically go. If you look, it'll automatically be on the second page as well, and the third and fourth. so your name will be everywhere. Okay, that's MLA format. Then you have a centered title. It should indicate both what your subject matter is and the two eras that you are going to compare. It may sound like it's a very wordy title. It's okay, it doesn't matter. You want any student, anybody who's, a scholar, anybody who's researching this kind of thing to know at a glance what your paper's about. Can it be pretty? Yes, but it needs to also be informative. Don't make it so pretty that we don't know what you're going to be writing about. It should be clear, both the two eras and the topic. Then you have some type of beginning, obviously an attention getter is good. This doesn't really have an attention getter, but, ask a question, tell us a story, give us a fact, do something to grab us at the beginning. Asking a question is usually the standard, but there are so many different ways. Use a quote. Quotes are great. And then just cite it and then go on and, have that quote very interestingly bring you into the topic. Then by the end of the introduction, we should know the two eras that you're comparing, and we should have a thesis statement telling us what that comparison is and what it's going to reveal to us. What is it? What are we going to find by comparing those two eras and reading through your paper? It should have a point to make. Don't just say that there are differences and similarities. Of course there are. But what do they mean? That's where you get it. That's the answer to that question is your thesis statement. Does it show that one was far less advanced? Does it show that religion had drastically changed a culture? Does it show that it's amazing what education does or literacy what effect literacy has on a culture? You can tell me. It may be that religion had a factor in what was going on and what the differences were. Who knows? You tell me what I will find in your paper. And then the first half of the paper is just a discussion of the first era. So in the other video where I made the chart, remember I had the Roman Empire versus the Italian Renaissance. Well, the Roman Empire, I can actually, write all about the Roman Empire. Each paragraph should be one of the facets that I covered in that chart. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then go back to that video and watch it, okay? Because it is necessary for you to understand what to do for your papers. And I will post both of these can be found in the research essay materials folder in lessons. They can also be found if you've subscribed to the channel in YouTube, they can be found there. And I will send you links to both of them by email. So that everybody has them and everybody has access. Be sure and watch these before you do too much work on your paper. So then you'll have several paragraphs. Like for instance, I had 5 points that I was covering in my chart. Well, then I would have 5 body paragraphs just to go with the Roman Empire. Then when that's what I turn in for the first paper. So, I turn in the intro covering both eras, and then I turn in the full discussion, the body paragraphs covering the Roman Empire. Essay 2, or the second part 2 of the essay, is that section, all that stuff you turned in for part 1 after I've written it through and given you feedback on it. Then you add part 2. You add the era, the second era, Italian Renaissance, or whatever your second era happens to be. Follow exactly the same order to talk about the different facets. So if you covered the Roman era in a certain order, you cover exactly the same order for your second era. And then you can then put several other paragraphs. So you would have 5 more paragraphs added to it, each one of them in order covering what you covered with the first era. Yes, you can include pictures. Notice how this one, though, she put in figure 1 and she gave us details of it. Good. And then you finish up the second half and you write all about that. Now, once you get that done, then you need a few paragraphs really beefing up the comparison. What is it we're going to learn? Go back to that meaning that you said we'd get from your thesis statement will show us what we can learn from this comparison and explain that clearly in the last few paragraphs and the conclusion. Now, at the end, and I only gave her an example of Works Cited, then you need to cite every single source that you have cited inside your essay. It must be cited in your essay first. So if you use something and you're talking about somebody like Visual Arts Cork, see Visual Arts Cork, that is a source that's cited here parenthetically. So that's an in-text citation. Then you have to have a citation here. Now I don't see it here. I'm going to be looking for it though. So if I see somebody Smith said something back up here, I'm going to be looking for somebody Smith on the, like here, she has a person Fierro 205. Well, I better see a listing down here for Fierro and a fuller listing explaining that. Now, if you're not sure about how to do MLA style, as long as you go to Purdue OWL and you look at their MLA cited page and you try to make things in MLA format, you're going to be fine. If you don't, if you just wing it, or you give me a web address or something equally ridiculous, then you will not get credit for it. So don't just give me a web address. That is not a proper citation. Use the Purdue OWL, use examples from MLA.org if you need to, but you can cite MLA. You also learned how to do this in Comp 1. So you need to use what you have learned in Comp 1 to do this. If you're not sure, send me a link to the article and say, I'm getting stuck because I don't have an author or I don't have a date or whatever you're missing, and I can help you. But I will not write them for you. So you have got to go through and remember how to do this if you don't remember, because that's required. So sources have to be cited inside, and they have to be cited on the works cited page, which can be on its own paper, on its own page, or if the essay ends and there's space, you can just continue it right afterwards. Hopefully that helps you as far as the format, but if you have any questions as you go through, remember, double spaced, 12-point Times New Roman, use the MLA heading that's listed right here, your name, my name, humanities, and the date. You can just put humanities 1101 but just make sure you identify and identify my name too. Please spell my name right. It's on the syllabus, y'all. Spell your name right. It's not on the syllabus, but you should know how to spell your name. And that's the last joke I'm going to give. So if you do run into questions though, please ask and I will do what I can to help. But that's it. So it's short and sweet, but hopefully it gives you the information you need to make your paper good. And remember, if you have not watched the video over making the chart, don't skip it. It's worth the 30 minutes because it will really help you format your paper and organize it well. And it will help you find your research. If you do have questions though, give me a call. Thanks. Bye.